Stellantis, the massive conglomerate housing 12 auto giants like Ram, Chrysler, and Dodge, recently stirred up controversy with a bombshell dropped by its CEO, Carlos Tavares. In a stark warning at the inaugural Freedom of Mobility Forum, Tavares cast doubt on the electric vehicle revolution, leaving many in the industry perturbed. The crux of Tavares' message is that while gas-powered cars face impending bans, EVs might not be the panacea they're touted to be. Tavares highlighted a looming challenge: the scarcity of resources like lithium, crucial for EV batteries. This scarcity threatens to derail the ambitious plan to replace a staggering 3 billion internal combustion engine vehicles worldwide. Stellantis, cognizant of the shifting automotive landscape, has committed a staggering $35.5 billion investment in plug-in models by 2025. However, Tavares' warning underscores the monumental hurdles ahead. With over 1.3 billion gas-powered cars currently on the roads, the transition to EVs isn't merely daunting. It could be nigh impossible due to resource limitations. Tavares' remarks have ignited a debate on the feasibility and sustainability of the EV agenda. As governments worldwide enforce bans on combustion engines, questions about the availability of resources and the viability of mass EV adoption loom large. Stellantis' stance challenges the prevailing narrative, prompting a re-evaluation of the future of mobility. Stellantis isn't just making big moves in the EV scene. They've even teamed up with Samsung to build their first EV battery factory. But amidst all these ambitious plans lies a troubling assumption that there will be enough raw materials to go around. Elon Musk and Rivian's RJ Scaring have already sounded the alarm about the looming scarcity of essential materials like lithium, nickel, graphite, and cobalt. Sure, technically speaking, the world might have sufficient resources, but getting them out of the ground is no walk in the park. It's a bureaucratic and logistical nightmare, tangled in red tape and geopolitical tensions. Even if we have the lithium, setting up a new mine could take up to a decade. Carlos Tavares isn't pulling any punches either. He warns that the proposed combustion ban by the European Union could have unintended consequences, potentially leading to increased greenhouse gas emissions. Why? Because we might not have enough lithium to responsibly allocate to EV production. Germany seems to be taking heed. They recently voted down the combustion ban, arguing for allowances for future green fuels. If Europe and certain US states go ahead with combustion engine bans, EVs already 40% pricier than their gas counterparts could become even more expensive. Mercedes-Benz CEO echoes these concerns, cautioning that without a robust supply chain, increasing EV production could further drive up costs. So, what's the solution? Tavares suggests mandating that every new vehicle have a range of at least 30 to 50 miles with zero emissions. It could be a more practical and cost-effective approach, especially considering that the majority of trips are under 30 miles. Known for his blunt style, Tavares didn't mince words when he asserted that we're not quite there yet regarding range. To eliminate range anxiety, EVs would need to cover 400 miles on a single charge. But that wasn't the only bombshell he dropped. Tavares disclosed that producing electric vehicles costs a whopping 40% more than making internal combustion cars. What's particularly concerning is his acknowledgement that passing on these costs to consumers would risk losing half of their customer base. Essentially, Tavares is cautioning that the dream of affordable EVs for the average buyer might be just that, a dream. Adding to the complexity, Tavares scrutinized the weight of EVs. Achieving a 400-mile range would add a hefty 1,000 pounds compared to similar gas-powered vehicles, a weight that's simply unsustainable. While acknowledging the regulatory pressure favoring EVs, Tavares proposed an alternative solution. He suggested replacing older vehicles with modern equivalents, potentially featuring mild hybrid technology. This, he argued, could offer a more practical and cost-effective approach, leading to a swift 50% reduction in carbon dioxide emissions on average. Tavares isn't just critiquing EV challenges, he's also vocal about what he sees as the politicization of climate change policies. He cautioned against using these policies as tools for competitive advantage in global trade, especially as countries like the US and China offer hefty subsidies to promote clean technologies and EVs. Tavares is raising a crucial concern. Are we unwittingly triggering a global trade dispute in the guise of fighting climate change? It's not just speculation. It's a warning sign that could signal the downfall of the EV dream. A dream sold to us as the solution to our environmental challenges. The skepticism of Stellantis' CEO is mirrored by the struggles of other automakers like General Motors, Ford, Hyundai, and Rivian. They're all wrestling with the soaring costs of battery materials. Moreover, the new EV tax credit rules mandating battery production in North America or allied countries have thrown a spanner in the works for many automakers. It's as if the industry is standing on shaky ground, propped up by policies that sow division rather than unity and destruction rather than progress. Tavares has been vocal about the risk of pricing the middle class out of the EV market if automakers can't absorb the added production costs. He believes that affordable EVs should ideally be priced around $25,000. But if subsidies are the only way to keep EVs within reach, what happens when those subsidies inevitably diminish? The middle class could find themselves not just priced out of new cars, but potentially shut out of personal mobility altogether. Despite Stellantis having the least aggressive electrification strategy among Detroit's Big Three, it's still in a precarious position. Even its flagship electric pickup, the Ram 1500 EV, is expected to come with a gasoline range extender, underscoring the company's struggle to fully embrace electrification. While the average cost of EV batteries has plummeted by 80%, the starting prices of EVs remain high. Jeep, a brand synonymous with rugged off-road vehicles, hasn't been immune to these market forces. Despite its push for electrification with models like the Wrangler and Grand Cherokee 4xe plug-in hybrids, Jeep has faced declining sales and a tarnished brand image. In the first quarter of 2023, Jeep sales were down nearly 20%, with Ram truck sales following suit with a 17% decline. Jeep's sales slump can be traced back to the significant hike in vehicle prices. In 2015, a Jeep Wrangler would set you back around $35,000 to $38,000. Fast forward to 2023. And the same model with a manual transmission comes with a hefty $52,000 price tag. This sharp increase isn't just due to inflation or supply chain issues. It's a deliberate move by Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares to position Jeep as a luxury brand. Dealers have been given the green light to slap on massive markups, sometimes reaching thousands of dollars. This move further distances the middle-class consumer base that once found Jeep affordable and attractive. However, the luxury brand positioning seems to be backfiring, particularly as Jeep grapples with quality control issues. Recent recalls over fire risks and safety concerns have taken a toll on the brand's reputation. Moreover, the shift towards luxury and performance features in EVs only adds to their already high costs. Take the electric Ford F-150 Lightning, for instance, starting at around $56,000. Considerably more than its gas-powered counterpart. This pricing trend isn't exclusive to newcomers like Tesla or Rivian. Even mainstream automakers are slapping premium price tags on their EV models, making it tough for middle-class consumers to make the switch. It's about time brands understand what consumers truly want and stop pricing their cars sky high while loading them with impractical features that few actually use. As we grapple with these revelations, several daunting questions loom large. If EV production costs are indeed 40% higher than internal combustion vehicles, and if these costs can't be passed on to consumers without losing half of the customer base, what does the future hold for electric vehicles? Are we facing a mobility crisis where the middle class is priced out of personal transport? And most concerning, are we headed toward a future where well-intentioned policies to save the planet end up causing more harm than good? The clock is ticking, and the answers to these questions could shape our collective future. Which side are you on in this electric versus ICE battle? Let us know in the comments below. Volkswagen is facing a serious challenge from electric vehicles, as announced by the CEO in a recent development that has left many surprised and bewildered. The CEO expressed strong concerns about the company's competitiveness and financial health, likening the situation to being on the brink of crisis. Despite already experiencing a 50% decrease in demand, Volkswagen has decided not to lower the prices of their EVs, resulting in the dismissal of over 1,000 employees and halting EV production. Furthermore, Volkswagen has entered an unexpected partnership in a bid to salvage its position in the market. However, A looming threat from a Chinese competitor adds to the company's woes, potentially leading to its downfall. This unforeseen turn of events underscores the disappointment surrounding EVs, which were once hailed as the future of transportation. But what exactly is wrong with Volkswagen? And could the company face closure? The CEO's stark warning during an investor meeting shed light on the grim reality of Volkswagen's financial situation. He emphasized the mounting debt and dwindling competitiveness, particularly in the EV sector, where consumer interest is decreasing. Volkswagen, renowned for its legacy of producing high-quality cars, is struggling to keep pace with the evolving automotive landscape. Unlike newer EV manufacturers that prioritize cutting-edge technology, Volkswagen's offerings are criticized for their outdated interiors and exorbitant prices. The company finds itself pressured to transition to EV production, a move that further strains its resources and market standing. In essence, Volkswagen's future hangs in the balance as it grapples with the challenges posed by EVs and its own internal struggles. The decisions made by the CEO and the outcomes of its partnership will undoubtedly shape the company's trajectory in the coming years. It's official. Volkswagen is taking a bold stance against electric vehicles and halting EV production, signaling a significant shift in strategy. The situation for the company seems almost surreal, with recent developments painting a dire picture. To add to the woes, Volkswagen has implemented a controversial $150 fee for GPS coordinates in emergencies, as highlighted by Taylor Shepard's alarming experience in Illinois. This decision raises eyebrows, especially for a company of Volkswagen's stature, indicating a desperate attempt to generate revenue amidst challenging times. Competitors like Tesla and BYD, known for their affordable EV offerings, pose stiff competition to Volkswagen. The aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine conflict has further complicated matters, causing disruptions in the company's supply chain and exacerbating existing bottlenecks. Despite efforts to bounce back, Volkswagen's recovery remains sluggish, casting doubt on its future prospects. In a bid to address financial woes, VW announced plans in June to slash costs by a staggering $1 billion. The sense of urgency was palpable during a staff meeting, where CEO Thomas Schaefer and board member Gunnar Kilian underscored the need for drastic measures. Kilian's mention of cutting costs significantly and temporarily shelving EV production underscores the gravity of Volkswagen's predicament. When Schaefer likened the situation to the roof being on fire, it wasn't merely hyperbole. It was a stark acknowledgement of the urgency and severity of Volkswagen challenges. As the company navigates the transition to electric vehicles while maintaining a foothold in the global market with traditional internal combustion engine models, the road ahead appears increasingly uncertain. During a recent meeting attended by over 2,000 senior managers, a call to action was issued by Schaefer, urging an immediate halt on spending due to escalating costs. Highlighting the forthcoming challenges, Schaefer emphasized the importance of focusing on incremental victories in the upcoming weeks and months. However, the hurdles facing Volkswagen extend beyond financial constraints. In China, Volkswagen's largest market, sales have taken a hit, prompting the company to reduce prices on their most profitable models to stay competitive against Chinese counterparts in both electric and traditional vehicle segments. Turning to EV production, Volkswagen made headlines in October by ceasing production of 2 flagship EV models at its German factories, citing dwindling demand exacerbated by cuts in government subsidies. This decision resulted in layoffs affecting around 1,000 employees at the Zwickau plant, reflecting the harsh realities of the shifting EV landscape. Moreover, escalating costs in Europe have prompted VW, along with industry peers like BMW and Tesla, to explore manufacturing opportunities in China for export purposes. Volkswagen's plans to introduce the new electric SUV, the ID.4, in Europe next year, produced in China, highlight the company's strategic pivot. However, uncertainties loom over this approach, particularly with the EU investigating Chinese EV subsidies. The situation is compounded in the US market, where Volkswagen's EVs may not qualify for subsidies, further inflating costs for consumers. In response to these challenges, the company has formed alliances with undisclosed partners, seeking salvation amidst turbulent times. Delving into the reasons behind the sluggish sales of Volkswagen's EVs, the volatility of the EV market becomes apparent. While once hailed as the future, EVs have failed to gain widespread traction, particularly among the middle class, who are deterred by high prices and limited range. The inadequacy of charging infrastructure further complicates matters, highlighting a gap between expectations and reality. Furthermore, there's a growing concern over governmental pressures on companies like Volkswagen, Ford, and GM to prioritize EVs at the expense of internal combustion vehicles. While the mandate for EV adoption persists, little attention is paid to addressing the affordability crisis faced by consumers. This disparity underscores the complex dynamics at play in the automotive industry's transition to electrification. So you're probably wondering about the whole ban on gas-powered cars, right? But what about regular folks who just want a car that won't break the bank? It seems like everyone got hyped up about this electric vehicle's future, but now it's kind of fizzling out. The truth is, EVs are still pretty pricey for the average person. According to Cox's Automotive, the average selling price for an EV was around $6,183 in November. That's not exactly pocket change. And then there's the issue of charging these things. In the US, there are about 141,142 charging stations, but a lot of them are the slow kind or just not convenient to use. So, what are the big car companies doing about all of this? Well, some of the heavy hitters like Volkswagen, General Motors, Ford, and even Tesla are kind of pumping the brakes on their EV plans. GM and Ford have hit pause on building new EV factories and scaled back their sales targets. Honda even scrapped a plan to make affordable EVs with GM. On top of that, battery makers like Panasonic and LG Energy Solution are warning about a slowdown in the EV market. But here's where Volkswagen really dropped the ball. Picture this: you're running a shop, but nobody's really buying what you're selling. You'd think about dropping prices, right? Well, not Volkswagen. Even though their sales are down, they're not slashing prices like other car makers are. Their chief financial officer, Arnold Onlet, says it's all part of their plan to bounce back and make more money. They're focusing on cutting costs elsewhere, but it's leaving them out of touch with what their customers want. Volkswagen's recent quarterly reports haven't been great, especially when it comes to raw material prices. They've had to adjust their profit margin guidance for the year because they're just not hitting the numbers they were hoping for. Onlet has expressed disappointment over this, but it looks like they're sticking to their guns when it comes to their pricing strategy. Their EV order intake in Europe took a nosedive, dropping from 300,000 in 2022 to a mere 150,000 this year. That's a significant decline. However, Onlet remains upbeat, pointing to a gradual uptick in orders during the third quarter and forecasting further growth in the near future. But fear not, as Volkswagen is exploring a potential partnership with none other than Renault. The aim? Developing a budget-friendly $20,000 car, a price point that certainly catches the eye. This isn't just any ordinary EV. It's envisioned as a vehicle that will make electric cars accessible to the masses. Talks are still in the early stages and shrouded in secrecy, but the potential impact could be substantial. With an ambitious target of producing 200,000 to 250,000 vehicles annually, this collaboration could flood the market with EVs like never before. But that's not all. Volkswagen is also teaming up with XPeng in China to manufacture more affordable batteries and roll out 10 new EV models priced under $30,000 within the next 5 years. It's a bold move, but whether it will pay off remains to be seen. For Volkswagen to regain its footing, it's crucial that they heed the feedback of consumers. The future of EVs appears uncertain, and if current trends persist, we may witness some major shakeups in the industry. What's your take? Do you think Volkswagen has what it takes to emerge victorious in the EV race? Share your thoughts in the comments below.